Everybody wants
welcome to
alternative
Milk, the best podcast this side of the Gulf of Mexico. We're bringing you more talk of anime talkie points. And I am your host, JD, and I'm joined by my favorite guest host ever.
Morgan.
Say it for the people in the back. Say it for the people way in the back.
Morgan.
Ooh, hi Morgan. How you doing?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm great. And for all the people out there that are extra great, you should go over and follow me at different places. Go over to my Instagram, alternativemilkpod. Then done with that, go to the tweet out, alternative milk, no second I. If you can't spell it, go to the description. It says it there. And if you need any help with that, I believe in you. You are smart. You are a courageous individual.
You is kind.
You is important. And where may the people maybe hear you from?
Well, I co-host a lovely podcast called That's a Tough One, along with you, where we talk about trending topics and sports and pop culture, stories that have gone viral on social media, and we even visit Reddit every once in a while and read some Am I the Assholes and other interesting topics. So we try to do, like our title says, tackle those tough topics, ask each other some tough questions.
Yes.
But also have some laughs there in between. So check us out. If you like our banter and you want to hear us talk about more goofy things, less important than Attack on Titan.
Yes, and that's what we're diving into today. And if you are interested in that podcast, go to the description. It will be down there. But we are huge Attack on Titan fans. As in everybody and their grandmother knows, Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2 of the final season dropped today.
Yeah.
Which you guys will be hearing this podcast the following day. And we're gonna make this a little series where we go through. It's supposed to be 12 episodes in Part 2 of Season 4. So we're gonna be jumping in every week and trying to do a review. Go over the episodes, say the things we like, we didn't like, all of above in the episode. And just going through it step by step. Mm-hmm. And if you guys want to hear us talk about Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 1, that is another episode we did way when it had concluded. So it's on here somewhere. And like I said, I believe my audience is smart enough to find it.
That was back in May of 2021. Yeah. So not too far much of a scroll. Not too much of a scroll.
Not a super scroll, but it is on there if you just want to hear us talk about it some more.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And we like to talk about it. Mm-hmm. I think because what happened, you didn't back when we first started watching it beforehand. You were willing to get caught up. You didn't know there were multiple seasons.
I did not know that there were. I knew there was a pretty big manga.
Yeah.
But I thought that the only season that was available in the United States was the one season on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And so we were talking about it. You were like, oh, yeah, the other seasons. I'm like, screw it, what? The other season's out. Tell me more about this.
And that happened to some of the people. Everybody think it's just on Netflix. So you only see season 1 and then it wasn't even dubbed. So you're like, well, I guess that's it.
Exactly. Yeah, so but you know what? It all ended up working out for the best because it was really great to have another person to talk about as I got caught up on the remaining seasons that were already out. Mm-hmm. I think we were able to kind of binge seasons 2 and 3, and then so those were rewatches for you. And then season 4 we watched the first part we watched as they came out together
on a weekly basis.
Yeah, so it was like a refresher for you, and it's still pretty fresh in my brain. So we'll see how we do with this recap and pulling all the information in from the manga and prior seasons. But if we make any mistakes, be gentle with us. We might mispronounce some names. We're gonna do our best not to be too brutal with the names, but yeah.
And names are always the hardest part, especially when I'm hearing it in Japanese. It's hard for me to go back and pronounce it. Like, just don't have the tongue for Japanese due to my extremely American upbringing. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time.
So question. For those who are new to the Alternative Milk Podcast Network, would you say you are more of a sub or dub person?
Ooh, and I'll say this honestly. I will. And here's what I feel like. Dub people are more superior, and I feel like I'm a dub person. Only because I'm willing to watch sub when that's the only thing available.
Okay.
I don't turn my nose up to either one, but I if there's a dub version, I'm gonna watch the dub version. And the sub version, if that's the only thing available, I'll watch that. But I'm gonna prefer the dub version if it's available. I hate people that try to say, "Oh, you gotta watch the way the Japanese actors are speaking." First of all, I don't speak Japanese, so I can't tell you if that voice actor is good or bad. Just because you like the tone doesn't mean he sounds good. Like, you might go speak to a person who speaks the different dialects of in Japan. They're like, "Oh yeah, he sounded trash. He sounded like he was barely able to read." But to your untrained ear to that language, it's going to sound good.
Right.
So just something to consider to people who just think sub is so superior.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I'm gonna be honest, I prefer dub, but I don't mind subtitles. Like, for whatever reason, when I'm watching like a horror movie, I really don't mind subtitles at all. Like, if it's a foreign film, manga, I do have a preference for dub, but I do think that the voices are better in the subtitled anime. For a lot of animes. For Attack on Titan, I think both are pretty good because we watched it both ways, and I would say I like the dub actors and the sub actors.
And see, I'll probably go back and rewatch it when this is dubbed. I know it's gonna be a couple weeks, about 3 to 4 weeks behind, but ain't no skin off my bones. I'll see how they did over there, and it's probably gonna be just as well. So I guess we should get into this.
I'm excited. I think we were definitely, like, as soon as the clock struck January 1st, we were like, oh, we're finally gonna get to see Attack on Titan. So it was like another thing for us to count down and be excited about. It was a little bit of a bummer last season when we realized that we weren't gonna get through the whole entire story, and there was likely to be we were trying to decide between either was it gonna be a movie or was it gonna be a cliffhanger in the second half of the season. And so May rolled around, got that last episode. I think we were both a little bit disappointed, but then also totally understanding of the fact that we knew if they were taking this much time, that we were going to get a quality part 2 to season 4.
Good animation. Everything's flowing well, and hey, they kept it up from part 1 to part 2.
Yes, definitely. So far,
it
seems like same quality. Same good writing, same good animation. Well, I know some people didn't like last season's animation, but
it's only because they had a couple jinky parts in it. But if you're gonna pick over like 3 parts out of 16 episodes, you're like, oh, that animation kind of jumpy right there. Like, oh, you gotta get over that.
Yeah, I will always forgive one area of something if the other areas on it are strong, and I think that there's so many strengths happening in Attack on Titan that I can forgive some weaker points of animation. Now, I know every anime fan is different, and some people don't feel that way. But I think overall, I'm enjoying the storytelling, I'm enjoying the acting, I'm enjoying the new theme song, so I can forgive it.
Yeah, all the theme songs. And before we start, I just want to say we're going to keep it anime only. So no manga spoilers. I'm the only one. I think I read it and I finished it, but you haven't read it. I've told you things, but we're just going to keep it strictly to the anime and to the episodes and each episode as we progress through the series. And first off, I want to say this was a good theme song they had. It's called The Rumbling by, I want to say it's Sim, is capital S, lowercase I, capital M.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the new opening, and as we were watching the episode, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a sound on TikTok in about 30 minutes. This will be a really popular sound, because it's like a nice mix of kind of like the music from previous seasons, but from like a more metal-y type of energy with it. I don't know what type of metal. I know it's a lot of types.
Yeah,
but
that type over there. So
it definitely had a really cool edge to it. I like the animation. It felt like the culmination of all the seasons that we were getting from this opening theme song.
Yeah, it was definitely slapping. I was all into it. And just in terms of the opening, I know there's going to be plenty of YouTube videos because you can legitly go through that opening and break it down piece by piece.
Mm-hmm.
And because you see so many characters, you see characters return. It's like, I don't know if I should mention it, but it's in the opening. Like, you see Annie in the opening, not in her crystallized form. You see Armin. At one point, he's laying down. It's right after the scene from Annie, and then it cuts to him, and you see him thinking of Bertolt for a split second. You see a crazy, huge Titan that I'm also not going to talk about because that is definitely a spoiler. Like, for manga only people, seeing that opening was crazy. Like, you're getting all these little tidbits. You're like, oh, and in my head, I'm watching it, and then we rewatched it the second time. I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. That's going to be cool when that fucking happens.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to be back in the world of Paradise and Marley and the Eldians. I think it was good to see the characters again. And I really got even more hype when we opened up with 2 fan favorites.
Yeah, we got Hanj and Levi. Levi's been fucked up at that point because it opens up right where the last season season cuts off for that character's arc and for that story. Levi's Hanji's has led the Jaegerist to where Levi was fighting the what's my man name? The Beast Titan. Yeah, fighting Zeke. Levi's fucked up. The Beast Titan was originally fucked up, but you know how it ended. He went into the stomach of that one Titan, and so Hanji's over there trying to tell everybody my man Levi's dead. He died instantly.
They wasn't buying it though.
They weren't buying it, and you get a cool scene, which it can go either way, where you see looks like the raindrops are hitting the camera lens, and that's to indicate that somebody is looking up. And I mean, it's only one person who's laying down on the ground right there. So if I'm gonna guess who the person is. Yeah, maybe everybody can guess who might not be all the way dead.
Safe to say, from Levi's perspective, and based on Hanji's behavior, I would also assume that he's alive. We don't know for how long. We don't know what state he's going to be in through the rest of the season because from how bad his injuries look, it will take a while for him to recover. And so I'm curious to know how many more episodes it will be before we see them again. And then from there, how many episodes it will be before he's fully healed. Or healed, at least in a capacity where we can see him do what Levi does best.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, he lost 2 fingers, and he doesn't have a Titan healing factor to just bounce back from. Like they show with Zeke. Because all of a sudden, you see all that steam going into that Titan stuff, like absorbing back into the Titan. And it's like the rain automatically stops, and Zeke emerges from it like he's been reborn. Like he's back at full strength instantly.
And he gives us an important piece of information because he shares basically like this dream state or that he was in where he realized his body was being rebuilt from clay. I think he said through the clear mud.
The sand.
Yeah. And he says he couldn't really tell. It felt like a long time, but it also felt like seconds had gone by. And we see a woman reforming him, and we are predicting that woman is Ymir.
Yeah, based on all those clues, it probably is Ymir, just as we've seen her in other openings, and we've gotten pretty much a lot of her story up until this point. How she is the original Titan. She is the progenitor of what we know as the people of Ymir. So we see her for a quick glimpse, and then the episode it goes over to where it picked up at the end of part 1. You got the Jaw Titan coming up out of nowhere, attacking Eren and his posse. And you got your favorite girl with him, Gabi. Yay, Gabi.
Before we get too frustrated talking about Gabi, one thing I would say that I really enjoyed about this episode was that we got to see all of our major players. So it wasn't like the season premiere where we have to wait to see 2 and 3 episodes to see what happened with this group and what happened with that group. We get everybody that's important on the stage first episode, so we get to see, hey, we know where Zeke is, we know he's back at full power, we know what's going on with Levi, we know what's going on with Hanji. We get to the jail cell, we get to see what's going on with them. We see Eren, we see, unfortunately, we have to see Gabi. We see, the card Titan and everybody else. And we even see, I can't remember what the kid's name, who was with Gabi.
Oh, Falco. Falco in the cell in the tower. Yeah,
we see Falco too. So I do appreciate that. It's like, okay, we're getting this story moving. We're moving along. We're not just going to mess around and drag out these episodes.
Yeah, it picks right up. There's no, hey, we're gonna tell you what happened. We're gonna back explain it. Like, no, it's assuming that you already saw part 1 and you're ready to jump right back in.
Yep. So Gabi is with Pike and safe with the Card Titan.
Yeah, and the Jaw Titan. The Jaw Titan actually attacks Eren, who has to transform, and you can see Eren using, I want to say some of the Warhammer Titan ability. Yeah. He puts you see him crystallize his forearms, which he learned from, I think that was from season 3. He learned to do that, but instead of it just being on his fist, you see it go all the way up to his forearm now. Like he's getting a little better.
But I think it was interesting that they pointed out, the Card Titan pointed out that power is draining and you can only use it for so long. So we also, they're reminding us that, these powers have strengths, but they also have some limitations and some setbacks too. So you kind of have to be smart about how you use what power and for how long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because like as soon as that happens, we got that whole attack coming from the people of Marley. It was a surprise for everybody except Eren. Eren thought it was a stupid thing, but he knew only one person will lead that, will make that suggestion to do that attack, and it's our boy, the Armor Titan. What's our boy name? Reiner.
I liked how he came. He came floating down. Like, okay, we were waiting on this beef end of the beginning of season 4, and we get it. We get right to it from the beginning. We don't have no episode of talking.
No.
Reiner come down. He hold up his hand. You see his cut. You see your Titan flash of light, and they fight. And they get to boxing.
And they fight every episode. I mean, every season they have a fight. Every season, except for the first season.
It's a tradition at this point. But another thing I'll point out that I've really, really enjoyed about season 4 and this episode 2, is that, I had a lot of complaints. I don't know if we've ever talked about this on the show before, but I had a lot of complaints about season 2. Because season 2 was a lot of talking and a lot of monologuing. Not a lot of fighting. They had some good fights in season 2. But it was definitely lacking on the action. And so I'm glad they kind of was like, no, we can have the dialogue. It's moving the plot forward. But we don't need to have, Eren and Reiner have a 45-minute argument. They don't really go nowhere. And then we miss out on a whole episode worth of fighting. Like, even last season when they had the conversation at, where was it? When they were in...
when they're in the basement right under there where they were having that play.
Like they talked for a few minutes and then they got to it.
And that was a substantial talk they were having. Like everybody
it was important.
Yes, it meant something to Reiner's character. It was so much character development for him in that basement. I guess there's always something happening in the basement in Attack on Titan.
It was definitely not like that scene in season 2 where I was like, oh my goodness. With... It was, I can't remember. The 2 women who were friends.
Oh yeah, Ymir and
not Ymir. What's her name, Ymir?
Yeah, the darker skin woman, tall one. Yeah, Ymir and she's the queen.
Historia. Historia. They remember that one episode they were on the Titan's back and they were telling me how good friends they were for like 30 minutes. Yeah. I'm like, oh bro, come on now.
That was the whole episode.
So okay, anyway, getting back to the point. They get right to it. They fighting, and they are and then so it's a 2-on-1. But I would say Eren is really holding his own for a good portion of that fight.
Oh yeah, Eren is fucking shit up. He's doing the job. And I want to say before that fight, I think it was right after it cuts to the Gabi and the Card Titan reuniting with the soldiers of Marley, and I really like the scene where it's Commander, I can't pronounce the name, Magath. He sees her and he just hugs her. And it's a big contrast because when you first see them in the beginning of season 4, He's being a hard ass. He's calling them all the bad slurs, but you can tell he kind of cares about them. Like, you can tell he doesn't want them to die, but you don't tell. And like seeing him do that hug, you really can see that he is more than I just don't want you to die because you are a soldier who's important to the army. Like I care about you. You are grown on me as I'm a father. I feel that I am a father figure to you, and I do not want you to die.
Yeah, and I also feel like the show does a good job of every so often just reminding you that these are children, and even the main characters that we're following now, it was just a few years ago when they were the same age as Gabi and Falco, if not a little bit younger. They themselves are not that much older, and so I think for a show with like a lot of death and loss and like heavy decisions and violence, I appreciate the fact that they kind of hammer it home every once in a while that, hey, you're watching children. So as much as I hate Gabi and I don't like her character, I can understand how even this man who is racist and bigoted, you still don't want to see anything bad happen to a child, especially if you do have these beliefs about the people of Paradise. To see her alive, I'm sure he was relieved to a certain extent.
Yeah. And we have Peak over there. She catches everybody up on, hey, our boy Zeke has betrayed us. He gave a bunch of people the spinal fluid, so he can turn them into Titans at any moment. And how do you feel about Gabi being the one to figure out that, hey, Zeke and Eren are trying to meet up to do some type of plan, possibly the rumbling?
It made sense because she had been in the room observing so much in season 4 when she was on the Zeppelin and then kind of bouncing around and hanging around and stuff. And I also think, sometimes it doesn't hurt to have somebody making sure the pieces of your plan get put where they need to be so you can make your move. And I think even just Eren allowing her and Falco to have so much information, we've seen it in the beginning of season 4, where like Eren developing relationships with kids and other people so that they could get other people to him so he could get his plans off the ground. So I feel like Gabi having that information and telling it's not gonna do any harm to anybody in the long run, probably other than her own side. The information is selectively given out, and when and how it's given out is also very intentional at this point in the story. So I could see at some point further down the line, like, oh yeah, I wanted her to tell this information so you could go here and here and there, and then my plan could be put into the works.
Yeah, definitely put in the works. And she's smart enough to figure it out, even if that wasn't the case. You know what I'm saying? She was a trained soldier. She got some little bit of espionage skills.
In the same way, later in the episode, we see Armin, who we know is a very smart character, put 2 and 2 together and fill in some gaps for the, our scouts and everything like that. So it's understandable. The other piece of it is, so what if people know this big master plan? Who gonna stop them? Who gonna stop the Beast Titan, who can turn people into Titans when he wants to and command Titans? And then who is gonna stop Eren, who has the Founder Titan and the Attack Titan and the Warhammer? And
he's using them because literally the next scene after that is the Eren with his Attacker Titan form fighting the Armor Titan and the Jaw Titan.
Right.
And you got a little monologue from at this point you still haven't seen I don't think we've seen Eren talk really the whole time.
I think he is holding back. Like, I feel like he's a person who knows where he got up his sleeve. Because even in that fight, I feel like he was holding back a little.
Yeah, because it was something like he never dealt a kill. I know he was trying to win the fight, but it never. It seemed like he could have dealt a kill shot, especially to the Armor Titan. You got the Jaw Titan that was injured, and maybe he was before he got shot by Peak. That was a cool scene where the Car Titan now has that mounted cannon, and it has Commander Magath on it being the one to fire it. He's like, bro, I was the best shooter in the whole military. I don't care that I got bumped up in promotions.
General now.
Oh yeah,
General
Magath. He's like, fuck it, I'm still finna get on here and shoot some fucking Titan.
I feel like he pulling, and I could be reading too much into it. I feel like he pulled a little bit of a Floyd Mayweather. Like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all get tired out. I'm gonna let y'all like y'all really doing something. I have a plan. I'm confident in my plan. I'm confident in my ability to whoop y'all. Because he already whooped them before. He'll whoop them again. So, we'll see. But, yeah, I thought the fight scene was cool. I wasn't at any point, even when he was getting shot in the head, I'm like, okay, I know he's gonna bounce back from this. Just want to see how.
Yeah, because you know he can't get eaten yet. Even though it shows the armor titan when he was holding him and the jaw titan coming in behind him trying to bite his neck. You're like, now this isn't how Eren loses.
We got 11 more episodes to go. We know he's not gonna get eaten next episode.
Yeah, then you see Eren gets shot in the head, and you got all the scouts, all the Jaegerists coming to his rescue, and you're like, we're gonna whoop some ass.
It's always hard seeing scouts get killed, whether they getting blown apart by rocks or they're getting eaten alive or they getting shot or whatever. It's always hard seeing them get killed because that's who you started the show with. Those are your people.
Yes, you want to see scouts. Even though these scouts are not the same scouts we started with, they got some different beliefs. And I'm not 100% sure they know about the euthanasia. All of them know about that plan specifically. Yeah,
it seems like certain people had certain pieces of information about what the plan was.
Yes.
We know certain people had different levels of coercion into joining the Jaegerists and different things, but it's still sad to see scouts on the ground dead in mass.
But it gives a point because Magus says like the people of the world, they need to see a hero save the world. And I like that scene. As soon as it happens, you see the armor titan gearing up, and I legitimately thought he was gonna whoop Eren's ass. That was I just thought that was such a good scene. I just want to bring that.
Yeah. That moment when we saw Yelena standing up there looking all slack jawed, not really knowing what to do. I just said that, and I thought to myself, I was like, WWED. What would Erwin do? Because who would have got them organized, and who would have had people on the ground, and who would have hyped everybody up to hold faith and hold the line and not be running? Commander Erwin.
Yeah, and I love me some Commander Eren.
He missed.
And that was one of the issues I had with Yelena, and something that made me suspicious when before Eren got in there to whoop some ass against the armor titan, she told him to go underground and go somewhere, and it's like that completely neutralizes his titan, right? And that's not what you want him to do, because if he gets caught down there, there's nothing he can do.
Same thing with Armin,
and that's why he's down there,
right? He's like, I would kill so many people, I can't possibly turn right now. So that's another interesting, I guess, weakness of the Titans is it matters when and where you turn to, especially when you're as big as Armin's Titan is. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes into play in the story too. Who?
Yelena?
No, Armin.
Oh, Armin, yeah. And we're gonna get to Armin because Yelena's fucking losing her mind. I can't pronounce his name. Onya Kapoon. He's like, we gotta get more help, or we're gonna lose everything. And he goes down to the basement to release Armin, Mikasa, Connie, the whole gang. The whole gang's back.
Minus a couple people. R.I.P. Always miss you.
Damn, I miss my dog. But he's like, hey guys, I didn't know about this whole plan about euthanasia and shit. Please, can y'all come help? And he gets him free. Connie gets out, makes a whole speech about, bro, I'm not going to help you. I don't want to help Eren. What's he want to do? And that's when you bring up the point of Armin coming in. It's like, do we really think that Eren wants to euthanize all of us? That doesn't even sound right.
Sterilize everybody.
Yeah, and that's the plan they think is going to happen. He's going to sterilize using the Founding Titan's powers. They're all connected. All people of Ymir are connected through something called the pathways, and it's definitely going to dive into more of that in the season to come. But it can control how people's bodies operate, and if the Founding Titan can basically just make everybody sterilized, so they can't have any more children of Ymir.
And I liked this episode how we got to see a few characters grapple with the meaning of that. So maybe, rather than focusing too much time on having a long dialogue, and that may happen later in the series, but I liked how they just kind of we got a little snapshot of how people felt about that, and what that would mean for, like, hey, we fought so that we could continue and live in peace, not so that we would sacrifice our lives so that the rest of the world could be at peace. And I was like, oh, that's a really interesting point of, the scouts were willing to sacrifice their individual lives so that their people and their families and their legacy could live on. They were willing to go, and invade a foreign land so that they could get peace for their family. So why would they be okay with now killing off that same bloodline of the people that they fought and died, like their friends fought and died to preserve? Now we're going to go ahead and just sterilize everybody and let that line die out. So I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But you know what, that brings up a great question. Is that it is for the good of the entire planet, letting your people die out. You can't be used as weapons anymore, or you can't be used as fodder to just destroy lands and kingdoms, like, because they can, if they got a spinal fluid, they can turn anybody to the type they want.
I think, yes, that's true.
And they'll continue to be used as weapons to destroy civilizations.
I think that's true, but I think what's also true is there will be another weapon. If it's not them, it'll be a nuclear bomb or some other world destroyer thing. So it's hard to argue in like, well, what ifs and if they didn't exist, but they do exist, and they have a imperative to keep living like all human beings do. So I mean, I think I can definitely understand why, as scouts, as people who were on the front line fighting and dying to save your people, you wouldn't just say, well, what the hell was I fighting for? So we don't exist 50 years from now? And then like somebody made the point of, I can't remember if it was this season or last season, to say, well, who would keep Historia's line? Like, you're making such a big gamble of making sure that Historia's line survives so that they can pass down the founding titan every 13 years. Making sure that when the last of the Paradisians are old enough, they don't just get slaughtered by some foreign invader. Like, it's a lot of moving pieces to that plan that I don't think Yelena and Zeke really understood and thought out very well.
Yeah, it's more to it and that's the easy way out. Hey, we're gonna make it so you guys can't reproduce anymore. That's easy to do. That's basically it. But it's such a slow killing, and to force these people to watch everybody they know die, knowing there is no second generation and there is nothing we can do for our people to survive.
That's a big sacrifice to ask them to do for the rest of the world that hates them. Can you save the people that hate you by eliminating yourself? Hell no, please. I wouldn't agree to that either. We just figured out how to live without these titans eating us every 5 minutes. We want to enjoy life now. They've been suffering more than anybody on Earth for the last however many years.
Yes, I think they've been 100 years on that island. They had their memory. This king thought he was better than everybody else and erased all their memories. So for most of those people, all they knew is we live on this island behind these walls. Right. We were forced to stay here, or we would die on the outside. So they're just learning to reintroduce themselves into the world, and now they got to shut themselves off.
And you find out the whole world hates you when you get back out there too.
Yeah, and they will slaughter them as soon as they will wait 15 years and come onto that island and slaughter every single person cruelly.
They absolutely will. They absolutely will.
To get revenge. So it's not a good plan. It doesn't help. Like you said, there's just be another world power. And maybe the only reason there hasn't been nuclear weapons to this point
is because of the Titans.
Yes, they kept annihilating everybody before they even invented them, and Marley never advanced past the stage to develop better weapons because they had Titans.
I would make the argument that who's to say within a certain amount of years, other than the rumbling, who's to say within a certain amount of years, they were mentioning last season, these countries are getting more sophisticated, technology is getting more advanced. Eventually there will be weapons that can destroy Titans. Eventually there will be weapons that will be just as formidable as, the cart Titan and the attack Titan and, and everything else. So I think it's like a lot of what ifs to be said for why should we kill out this whole entire group of people. And who's to say that when the last people are all 70 years old, they don't take, the last of Historia's descendants and keep them captive, and so that they can have control over the rumbling. Who's to say that somebody wouldn't have that plan 50, 70 years from now.
Now, I also have a question about the rumbling. If you want to talk about this for a little bit.
Sure. I know we're a little bit off track, but
and we can, you know what? And real quick, we can talk about the last part of the episode because this is just one more scene after that.
Sure.
Army gives a speech. Mikasa, the way she was standing there, I'm pretty sure that's gonna get mean with her baggy pants and tight shirt. And then after that, they have the soldiers at war. We're seeing hand-to-hand combat with the soldiers on the ground. Like, everybody can't be a super important character who is fighting on Titans and having all the 3D maneuver gear, but everything seems to be missing them. You have the soldiers on the Marley side going hand-to-hand combat against soldiers on the Jaeger side. And you see a soldier just choking somebody out, and I just thought it definitely puts it in perspective to say, hey, these guys are still killing each other right now. This war is not over.
Yeah, still fighting.
Yeah, but that
even though you're not getting eaten by a Titan, you can still die at any moment.
And that was the last scene of the episode, and it shows Eren and his attacker Titan form one more time. But
quick episode.
That was a good episode.
We were excited to get back in, and I felt like it was 5 minutes long. It flew by.
I'm like, is that it? What you say? It was a little taste.
It felt like a little taste, like a little appetizer. Like it tasted good though. It's like when you get to taste the batter of the cake before it go into the oven. Like, okay, I didn't get a whole slice, but I know it's gonna be good.
Yeah, but I do love and appreciate that. Hey, we were right back in.
Yeah, got it going.
It's not like anime of the old days. We would have about 5 or 8 filler episodes before you even start. Like, nah.
Yeah.
We telling the story now.
Yeah, and I think that now looking back, the beginning of season 4 had a few episodes that felt slow for me, but it was because they were doing so much moving backwards to tell backstory that we now needed for like the end of the first part of season 4 in this season. So I appreciate them taking their time, I guess, in the beginning half of the season to lay a lot of foundation. Like, we took the episode before the finale last year. We had a whole episode dedicated to Zeke. We had a few other flashback episodes filling the gap about Zeke and Eren's family history and things like that. And so it felt a little bit slower at the time, but I'm glad we got the foundation so that way we could just come back into this episode, hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And we have all the knowledge we need to know to just move forward with the plot and with the action.
Oh, yeah. It was a great episode. I'll give it a 4.7 Milkies out of 5.
Whoa. I will say, I'm gonna give it 4 Milkies. There were no jaw-dropping moments in this episode for me, but it felt good to be back with the gang. I enjoyed what we were given. It was good to lay eyes on everybody. I'm excited for next week, even if it's a slower episode next week and nothing crazy happens. But yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Now, I got a question for you.
I'm excited to answer.
All right, this is the episode was called Judgment, and I need to judge this one part. I know in part 1 of season 4, the shifting Titans on Marley's side, they will always be a listen to, observe. They have that scene where they're actually listening on a meeting they're all having together. Now, in this one, would it have been better if Zeke somehow told his plan to Peak and Galliard, who are the Cart and Jaw Titans respectively, of the euthanasian plan? Does he think they would have been receptive of it? Because it's almost a big foil to him that they aren't in on the plan because they're actively fighting Eren. They're trying to take Eren's power away from him right now, and they think Zeke is a traitor.
Right.
I feel like he was one more person away from being able to enact this plan the correct way.
I'm gonna say no, because based on the way that we saw our scouts react to it, I think that's how other people would react to it. I don't know if you could necessarily get enough people to agree with you to get on your side. And ultimately, I think that Zeke was confident that the 2 Jaeger brothers would be able to get the plan done without the other Titans. I think they feel like they are Shaq and Kobe, Jordan and Pippen. Who else? Gronk and Brady.
Yeah.
I'm running out of sports analogies.
No, they are a powerful combo because you got Eren over here. He's able to utilize the Attacker Titan. He learned how to harden part of his body, and now he has the Warhammer Titan that he's able to utilize their techniques. And the Founder Titan when he's in contact with somebody of royal blood. And then you have Zeke, who probably the best Beast Titan in history. He's able to use his spinal fluid to turn other people into Titans at will, then able to control those Titans.
Yeah, I mean, okay, here's my favorite one. I'm thinking of them as Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl, what's his name? The black guy, Carl Weathers. And that scene in Predator when they dap up and they both flexing their muscles and they baby going up. Like, that's literally Zeke and Eren. Like, all they have to do is touch and agree. And they're too powerful, really, to stop because of the things that you just named. So I think Zeke probably feels like maybe a little overconfident. Trust Eren probably a little too much.
Yeah.
And saying, "Oh well, I don't really need to tell anybody." And especially now, it's probably a better idea because we see how political and how much it's like being in court. You never know who to trust. You never know who is talking about you behind your back. Who's going to tell on you? Who's going to backstab? Who's going to be captured and confess. So I think he probably felt it was best just to play his cards close to his chest and just keep it a secret.
Yeah, it really puts it in perspective when you have Zeke just believing in Eren wholeheartedly. Hey, Eren's on my side. He told me enough. I know he's with the plan. And then you have the two people in this world that know him best, and one of them believes like, no, something doesn't seem right with this plan. This is not what Eren would do. I can think of a thousand other things that Eren would do before he does this plan right here. He might still want to fuck some shit up, but he doesn't want to do this.
Yeah, I really think Zeke is a person that is smart, but I think he's overconfident, and I also think he has a hard time just taking in other information that doesn't suit his vision or his plan. And I think a lot of it stems from his experiences in childhood and growing up and how he got to be the Beast Titan and the people who he was exposed to at very important stages of his life. Like, I think that episode that we had to focus on him was really important to helping us understand why he's doing what he's doing, but ultimately why he probably won't be successful as well. It's my guess.
And hopefully Mikasa comes back because she is still a little out of it, especially after Eren telling her you are a slave to the will of the Ackerman. Yeah,
she's hurt. She's hurt. But I think they all love their home, and they'll do whatever they need to do to protect their home, even if it's not necessarily for Eren, or she doesn't say it's for Eren. I think they'll still do the right thing because they're good people. Yeah. You can always count them to do the right thing.
And they are. And I think we might have talked this episode to death.
I think we talked about it. We knocked it out the park. I have a question though as we wrap up.
Yeah.
Predictions for the season. Well, you already know because you read the manga.
Yeah, but I can try to give. Well, you give a prediction. What do you have for the season?
My question to you was gonna be, who do you think dies at the end by the end of this second half of the season? But I'll say. I'm thinking, unfortunately, I know Connie is a fan favorite now, so I'm thinking Connie is going down. He may go down in Sasha's name. Or something like that.
Potato Girl.
I think between Gabi and Falco, one of them gotta die. They can't both make it out. We gotta kill one more kid. So one of them is gonna go down.
I know who you want to die.
Yeah, Gabi is not a fan favorite, so the writers may do us a favor and nick her on out of there. So yeah, those are definitely their predictions. Levi, I could see him dying. I could see him doing something really heroic one last time and dying.
Yeah, because he's messed up right now. He is not right.
Yeah. I think that will definitely happen. And then as far as things I'm excited about, I'm really excited to see the fate of the Cart Titan, what's the other Titan? The Jaw Titan.
Cart Titan, Jaw Titan, Armor Titan. And those are the last ones left besides Eren and Zeke.
And of course Armin.
Oh yeah,
Yes, Class of
I forgot we have a whole class of Titans just
Yeah.
buried away in the basement
So-
right now, not being involved.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what.
Oh, we also have one more Titan.
Yes, that's a big excited to see her return as well. So definitely just want to see how things fall with all of our Titans that are out there, not inside of Eren or Zeke's body.
This is gonna be fun to see, especially fun to enjoy the journey with you
And the audience.
Yeah, and all our audience. So we can't wait. Hopefully you guys are back to enjoy our lovely voices next week, and we can keep this thing milky.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Please be sure to send in your predictions. If you agree with us, if you disagree, if you have any of your own theories or predictions or anything, send them our way. Email them to us and we'll read them on the show.
All right, bye now.
Alternative